If you're talking about unpredictable celebrities in Hollywood, nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, comes close to Shia LaBeouf. This dude has become the literal definition of a wild card. One minute he's a box office superstar, the next he's wearing a paper bag on his head saying, "I am not famous anymore." The craziest part is that Shia isn't just some random celebrity causing drama for attention. This guy is genuinely one of the most talented actors of his generation, who somehow keeps setting fire to his own career over and over again. Born in Los Angeles to what you could call an unconventional family, Shia's childhood was basically a recipe for future chaos. His dad was a Vietnam vet with serious PTSD who bounced between rehab stints for heroin addiction, and his mom was trying to hold everything together while they were broke. Shia would literally help his dad sell hot dogs on the street, and whatever they didn't sell became dinner that night. That's the kind of childhood that either breaks you or turns you into something extraordinary, and for Shia, it was definitely the latter. At just 10 years old, Shia started doing stand-up comedy at local clubs as a way to cope with his parents' constant fighting. Picture this, a 10-year-old kid getting up in front of grown-ass adults and telling dirty jokes that would make a sailor blush. People who saw him described him as having a 50-year-old mouth on a 10-year-old body. The kid had absolutely zero filter, but audiences ate it up because who expects a child to talk like that? But stand-up wasn't paying the bills, and Shia got arrested at 9 years old for trying to steal some Nike Cortez sneakers. Then again at 11 for swiping a Game Boy. The kid quickly realized crime wasn't the answer, but he needed money. The turning point came when Shia met another kid his age on a beach in Malibu who was wearing fancy clothes. When Shia asked what he did, the kid said he was an actor. Shia immediately thought, "That's my ticket out." The hustle in this kid was absolutely insane. With zero connections, zero training, and zero experience, Shia literally opened the yellow pages, found the first talent agent listed, and called them pretending to be his own manager. The agent could obviously tell it was just some kid on the phone, but they were so impressed by his pure balls-to-the-wall confidence that they decided to meet him anyway. That's the kind of origin story you can't make up. After landing small roles in shows like ER and Freaks and Geeks, Shia hit the jackpot with Disney's Even Stevens, playing the wild and unpredictable Louis Stevens. The show was a massive hit, and Shia even won an Emmy for his performance. But here's where it gets sad. While Shia was making something like $10,000 per episode, he and his dad were living in a $45 a night motel. Shia would attend AA meetings with his father between filming sessions. While other Disney kids were living the dream, Shia was dealing with some serious trouble behind the scenes. When Even Stevens wrapped after 65 episodes, Shia made the transition that most child actors fail at. He became a legitimate movie star. After starring in the Disney movie Holes, which was a huge hit and became a cult classic, Shia started climbing the Hollywood ladder with roles in Constantine and Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. Then 2007 happened, and Shia couldn't miss if he tried. In a single year, this dude starred in Disturbia, Surf's Up, and most importantly, Transformers. Combined, these movies made over $1 billion at the box office. At this point, Shia was now known as the IT guy of Hollywood. Girls wanted him, guys wanted to be him, and directors were fighting to cast him in their movies. Steven Spielberg himself called Shia Hollywood's next prodigy and cast him as Indiana Jones's son in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The movie made $800 million, but it had one major problem. It kind of sucked. And instead of just shutting up and promoting the movie like most actors would, Shia publicly criticized the film, basically throwing Spielberg under the bus. Harrison Ford literally called him an idiot for this, and honestly, can you blame him? This was the first major sign that Shia might be his own worst enemy. Around the same time as his career was exploding, Shia's personal life started spiraling. In 2007, he threatened a neighbor with a knife after some road rage incident. In 2008, he got arrested for what has to be the strangest Walgreens incident in history. Some weird multi-visit fiasco that started because he was embarrassed about a pimple and ended with him getting arrested. But the worst was when he flipped his truck while driving drunk. Somehow nobody got hurt, but Shia was slapped with a DUI, and this was really when his problems with alcohol started becoming obvious. Even with these issues, his career kept moving. He starred in 2 more Transformers movies that made billions, and by 25, Shia was worth over $25 million. The kid who once had to steal Nikes now had generational wealth, but something changed in Shia around this time. He started caring less about commercial success and more about the art. He began taking his clothes off for art house music videos and writing graphic novels that nobody read. Then 2013 came around, and Shia went totally, full weird. First he got caught plagiarizing a comic for his short film, then he plagiarized his apology for the plagiarism, then he plagiarized his apology for plagiarizing the apology. Like, was this some kind of performance art, or was he just losing his mind? Nobody could tell the difference anymore. In 2014, Shia showed up to the Berlin Film Festival wearing a paper bag over his head that said, "I am not famous anymore." During a press conference for his movie Nymphomaniac, when asked about doing a film with so many sex scenes, he just said, "When the seagull follows the trawler, it is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea," quoting famous footballer Eric Cantona's comment about seagulls, and then he walked out. Shia then partnered with some other artists to create bizarre performance pieces. For one, he sat in a room for 6 days straight with a paper bag over his head, and people could come in and do whatever they wanted. One woman sexually assaulted him during this performance, and somehow she faced zero consequences. For another piece, he just jumped rope for an hour on Skype while people watched. He claimed this was part of his quest to find inner peace. Sure, buddy, but his weirdest behavior wasn't just performance art. In June 2014, Shia was arrested after having a complete meltdown during a Broadway show. He was smoking indoors, shouting profanities, and even slapped Alan Cummings' ass during the performance. When police tried to remove him, he resisted and shouted at the officers, "Do you know my life? Do you know who I am?" Shia later admitted he was completely wasted at the time. That same year, a song called Shia LaBeouf by Rob Cantor went viral, depicting Shia as a cannibalistic murderer in the woods. The weird part, Shia appeared in the video at the end, sitting alone and applauding. Even as a joke, the whole vibe was just off. The one bright spot that year was his role in Fury alongside Brad Pitt. For this role, Shia went full method actor psycho. He cut actual scars into his face that are still visible today, had a tooth pulled out by some random guy behind a Radio Shack, and didn't shower for weeks. His co-stars were both impressed and disgusted. The movie was a huge success, making over $200 million, and critics praised Shia's performance, saying he'd finally found a role he could disappear into. But just when things seemed to be looking up, Shia was arrested again in 2015 for public intoxication in Texas. He was just being loud and jaywalking in front of cops, but it was clear the alcohol demons weren't going away. In 2017, Shia launched his famous He Will Not Divide Us anti-Trump project, which was meant to be a 4-year live stream of people saying he will not divide us into a camera. Instead, it became a target for 4 Chan trolls who were determined to mess with Shia. These guys were so committed that when Shia moved the project to an undisclosed location with just a flag on camera, they used flight patterns, star positioning, and even frog sounds in the background to locate and steal the flag. They replaced it with a MAGA hat and a Pepe the Frog shirt. Shia tried moving it 2 more times, but each time the trolls found it. It was honestly impressive dedication on both sides. That same year, Shia was arrested again after a drunk incident where he called a cop racist and told a white officer that his wife fantasizes about black men. Yikes! In 2018, things finally started looking up. Shia divorced his wife, Mia Goth, on good terms and started dating musician FKA Twigs. He stayed out of the spotlight and seemed genuinely happy for once. The following year, he starred in The Peanut Butter Falcon, which might be the best movie he's ever done. During promotion for this film, he appeared on Hot Ones and was charming, funny, and seemed like a new man. The real turning point came when Shia wrote and starred in Honey Boy, a movie based on his own childhood where he played his own father. Shia wrote the screenplay as therapy while in rehab, and the movie was a brutally honest look at how childhood trauma affects people later in life. Critics loved it, and it seemed like Shia had finally exorcised his demons. But because this is Shia LaBeouf we're talking about, the redemption didn't last. In 2020, FKA Twigs filed a lawsuit against him, claiming extreme physical and emotional abuse. According to her, Shia headbutted her until she bled, choked her in her sleep, and once threatened to crash their car unless she professed her love for him. He also allegedly gave her an STD knowingly. Shia sort of admitted to the allegations without getting into specifics. Even more bizarre, Shia admitted that his dad wasn't nearly as abusive as portrayed in Honey Boy, so he exaggerated his trauma for a movie about the effects of trauma. Make it make sense. That same year, for his role in The Tax Collector, Shia allegedly joined an actual Latino gang in Los Angeles called the Harpy 13s. He got their tattoos across his torso and was seen throwing up gang signs in photos with alleged members. All this method acting, and the movie still flopped. Since then, Shia has once again tried to turn his life around. He became Catholic, reconciled with Mia Goth, and they had a baby together. On Jon Bernthal's podcast, Shia took full accountability for his actions, saying, "I messed up bad, like crash and burn type, hurt a lot of people, and I'm fully aware of that." For the past 3 years, Shia has kept a relatively low profile. His recent movie Megalopolis was a massive box office bomb, making less than $20 million on a $120 million budget. Career-wise, it's pretty clear his peak is behind him. But personally, maybe becoming a father has finally given him the purpose he needed. Shia LaBeouf is without a doubt one of the most talented actors of his generation, but he's also his own worst enemy. Every time success comes his way, he finds some new and creative way to self-destruct. It took him nearly 35 years to finally start figuring things out, but maybe, just maybe, this time it'll stick. Hollywood's most combustible star might finally be cooling down.